What's up, guys? Today we're coming at you with a Metalfoes deck profile. This is a deck that many people don't play no more, but it was a core that I picked up back when Metalfoes was big. I just always liked it because it was like the Shaddolls. It was a pendulum based deck. So let's jump into this deck profile and let's see what we're coming at you with. We're running 3 of the Volflame. Volflame is just our level 7 beater, just good all around 8 scale, just good force. We're running 3 Gold Driver. You won't see this one mostly because it's the big beater of the level 4s or lower monsters. It's a scale 1. It helps you to get so many plays going, and just a good all around 19k beaters. Just good. We're running 3 Silver Steed, also 2, another good beater for the deck. It's 1700, low scale, very useful. And we're running 3 Stealing. You know, he's a good defender. That's about all he can do for us. Also, too, he's a good high scale. We're running 1 Brismagear. This card's not really that good, you know, for the way the deck runs. They're all vanilla monsters, but it is got a good effect for whenever it's destroyed to be able to search out a Metalfoes at the end phase. So that's very useful too. You usually go through your plays, pop it last at the end phase, get that search that you need. We're also running a small Draco package. We're running 2 Luster Pendulum, the Draco Slayer, and 2 Vector Pendulum, the Draco Overlord. These 2 are just good for, you know, being able to spam them out and, you know, be able to get the resources that you need. Also, too, with other pendulum decks, it's good to have Vector that you can negate the pendulum effects. You know, a lot of people don't think that's a big thing, but when you start negating effects in the pen scales, that's pretty useful for you. We're also running a small Rescue Engine and 2 Rescue Hamster. Rescue Hamster is really for pendulums. It's broken. And when I say that, if he's in the pen scale and you have 2 of the same scale, banish him out, add those 2 to hand. That's very useful. If you haven't pen summoned yet, that's very useful. Also, too, if you haven't normal summon target at level 5 or lower in your extra deck. If you still have 2 copies in the main deck that you can use, you can special summon them straight out. That can help you go into your Electromite play very fast, or even go into other plays that you want to make. Lastly, for the monsters, we're running 3 Rescue Rabbit. Rescue Rabbit is, you know, just all around good. It's another turbo card for the deck. It's just like Rescue Hamster. It's going to be able to get your, you know, Steed out there, Silver Steed. Also, it's going to be able to help you get your Gold Driver out there. You know, get those monsters on board as fast as possible. The main reason why I like Rescue Rabbit is it does not have to be normal summon. It can be pen summon and still get that effect. So that's very useful. But that is it for our monsters. For our spell cards, running 1 Upstart Goblin. Yes, a lot of people don't like to give their opponent 1,000 life points, but life points don't really matter. What you're mainly worried about is getting your board set up so your opponent starts minusing out, you know, resources. So that's the most part that you're looking for. Also running new Pendulum Halt. Pendulum Halt is, in my opinion, very good. The fact that it's being able to be searchable. You can set up your board so that you can get your Electromite on board, have your monsters that you need ready to go and everything. After you got your play set up, hit this, get whatever resources you need, keep going with your plays from there. We're also running 2 Duelist Alliance. Duelist Alliance is also going to be able to help us get our Pendulum Hold, also be able to get our Draco package if we need to, you know, things like that. Just help the deck to keep rolling. We're also running 1 Summoner Arc. This is to be able to help to get our Volflame, you know, our big level 7. You may get that into our hand. We got another high scale. That's what we need. And, you know, keep our plays going. We're running 2 Painful Decision. This card, you know, for this deck is very useful. The Metalfoes really play out of the graveyard. It's really funny how they do that. And that's the reason why I said, you know, even though for their normal monsters, they're almost like the Shaddolls the way they run. You're able to send one of your normal level 4 lowers to the graveyard and then add that same copy to your hand. So you got 1 in the graveyard, 1 in your hand. And usually when you do that, you're going to use your other Metalfoes cards to be able to either bring that back or spin it back into the deck. It's just going to be good resource advantage for you. We're running 2 Unexpected Die. Unexpected Die is just another turbo card. If you don't have no monsters on the field, especially summon one of your normal level 4 lowers to the field, and that's just going to help you get to your Electromite that much faster. They're all psychic monsters, so we're running 1 emergency teleport to be able to get those monsters that are level 3 or lower onto the field. It's just another little turbo card. Get them out there, go into your Electromite plays, or even go into your fusion plays, just whatever you might need at the time. We're also running 1 Draco face-off. This is just to help us to get our Draco setup going. You know, if we want to get our Luster Pendulum in the pen scale, or even either way into the extra deck, one way or another, we're going to get our hand the way we want it to. We might have to switch our play up, but we'll still be able to get it. Very useful card. The reason why I wanted to pick up the Metalfoes again is because Super Polymerization is back to 2. 2 Super Polymerization in this deck is very, very crazy. You know, your opponent's going to be caught off guard. Plain and simple. If they start, you know, setting up those crazy break my board things, you flip Super Poly and suck up 2 of their monsters, you know, that's easy board break right there, and just keep going with the plays you want to. We're also running 1 Metalfoes Fusion and 1 full Metalfoes Fusion. Metalfoes Fusion is just to help us to get our plays started up. Also too, it's like an upstart Garden, send it back into the deck, shuffle up the deck, draw 1 card. It's very useful for us. Our Metalfoes Fusion, usually we're going to be trying to use it on our opponent's turn to, you know, really bait out our opponent and, you know, get the plays going the way we want to. But that is it for our spell cards. For our trap cards, we're running 2 Metalfoes combination. This goes really good with the full Metalfoes Fusion. It's going to help us to, you know, bring back monsters and also to spam the board with our fusion monsters. Also too, when this card is destroyed, to be able to search one of our Metalfoes from the deck and add it to the hand is very useful. And lastly, for the trap cards, we're running 1 Metalfoes counter. This is very good. You know, a lot of times our opponent's going to be destroying our cards, or we might destroy our own cards, but mostly it's our opponent's destroying our cards by battle of card effect. Flip this card and it's almost like a pendulum summon from the deck. You're going to be able to special summon one of your Metalfoes straight from the deck to the field. Also too, not the turn that it's sent to the graveyard, but if this card's in the graveyard, you can banish it out, get one of your monsters from on top of your extra deck, add it to your hand. And that's a recursion play. And that's something that, you know, you want during your early game or your mid game or even your late game. To be able to get cards back from the extra deck into your hand, or just getting cards back in general, can be very, very useful to you. But that is it for the main deck. For the extra deck, we're running 1 Metalfoes Aura Hulk. You know, is very, very useful. He is the Hulk in my opinion. You know, the fact is he's just a very big beater. If he's sent to the graveyard, he's going to be able to, you know, destroy one of your opponent's cards. It's very useful. A lot of times you're going to use that in combination with your Metalfoes combination. Send this to the graveyard off of fusion. Then this is going to trigger to bring it back. Also too, to be able to destroy your card, have this brought back is very, very useful. It just helps you get so many plays going, helps you get field advantage. Very, very good. We're running 2 of one of the best cards. You know, this is the, in my opinion, like the construct of the deck. Millennium. Millennium is just going to be able to, when it's summoned, or just once per turn, to be able to spend 2 of your Metalfoes cards back into the deck. A lot of times that's going to be your traps and spells, which that's what helps out to keep the deck going and running the way you want to. And it's just going to be able to spin one of your problem cards back that you don't really want to be dealing with, and helps you to set up more plays. We're also running 1 Metalfoes Andamite. This guy's just good for being a just 25 beater, just easy fusion to go into. He's usually going to be one of the ones that you hold off on to the end, but you get him out there, keep your plays going. We're running 1 Alkahest. This card is very good. It's a very interruptive card. You know, your opponent, you start seeing him do a lot of crazy things. You either bring this out on your opponent's turn, or you have it set up on your board during your turn. And when your opponent gets a little too shady on some of their cards, just go and suck that card up, put it as an equip to this card, and just, you know, keep your plays going the way you want to. And lastly, we're running 1 Crimsonite. This guy is very good with super polymerization. You know, if you're in the Solomon Grave matchup, it's very, very useful. If you're in any other matchup, it's very useful. As long as you got a Metalfoes and they have 3,000 or less attack monster on their side of the field, just suck their monsters up with super polymerization, and you bring this big beater out and they're -2 cards. Very useful for you. Also, the super polymerization target, we got Starving Venom Dragon. This is also good, just, you know, once it gets onto the field, if it leaves the field, wipe your opponent of all their special summon monsters. That's a very useful effect that I like. That's the main effect that I'm really worried about. Everything else is just the icing on the cake. And lastly, we're running one Mud Dragon for our super polymerization target. This is just, you know, like I said, just be able to make sure we can wipe our opponent's board of any problematic monsters they might have over there. Just get them off the board and just keep our plays going the way we want to. I'm also running a small Odd Eyes engine in the deck with one Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon and one Odd Eyes Absolute. No matter what pendulum deck, if I can stick level 7s in there, if I can get this guy out to bring this guy out, I'm gonna do it, because just to have Odd Eyes Vortex with a pendulum deck is so useful to be able to spin back those cards out of the extra deck and get a good negate. Also too, whenever you special summon, just to be able to spin a card back, I like that a lot. We're also running one Ignister, just to be able to get a pop on one of your pin scales, spin something back, non-targeting removal is very useful. Also too, if you still have a Luster Pendulum in the deck, burning it out, another good card to have on the field as defensive wall. We're also running the one Earth Link Monster, just to be able to give all the Metalfoes a good 500 attack point boost, you know, just very, very good. We're running the one Heavy Metalfoes Electromite. This card, no matter what pendulum deck you run, this card should be in your deck. That's just bar none. Just the fact is that this guy gets out there, he's gonna make your deck start extending the way you want to. We're running one Deco Talker. Deco Talker is just a good generic link monster that can be very big, very fast, depending on how you put your link pointers, and even if your opponent decides to put one up here, if they want to get risky, let them. And lastly, for the extra deck, we're running one Zephyr Metatron, just because we can get 3 monsters from the extra deck anytime. But that is it for the deck profile, guys. Guys, if you haven't already, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Also, to be sure to Gallic gun that like button, share, comment, subscribe. Thanks, guys, for all your love and support. We're out.